Hey, you got time for a beer? I know I do. Welcome to my show. My name's Jake. It's Thursday, which means I've got a new brew for you here. You can find me at tubajake_69 at Untapped, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Tell me your stories. I like to hear them. I assume you do too, which is why you're listening to me. If you've got them, I will tell them. Whether you want them to be from me or from you, I will do them justice. Please let me do that. The brew that I've got for you today is Cerveza Delray. This is a Mexican-style lager out of Brew Detroit in Detroit, Michigan, which is awesome. I went and shopped at someplace different, so I got some new stuff. I mean, different as in, like, I shopped at Meijer, but not the Meijer that I'm usually at, because the Meijer that I'm usually at doesn't always have the freshest things. I've got friends that work at the Meijer that I bought this at, and that guy's actually interested in beer, as opposed to the place that supplies beer to the place that I actually work at, which they're interested in making money. So anyway, this one is a lager. It's 4.2%, if I remember correctly. I believe that says that someplace on here. Yep, right there. And it's from out of Detroit, which is awesome because that is fairly local for me. I'm closer to Lansing than Detroit, but I mean, seriously, all the same thing. It's a lager, so it should be light. It looks light. It should be light. It says it's 4.2%, which also means it's light. It's not going to be one of my favorite things because my favorite things are light, dark, and a little bit fruity. This one is not going to be fruity because it's a light lager. It could be because it's a Mexican lager. It could be just a little bit limey, but I don't think it is because that's not how you do a Mexican lager. How you do a Mexican lager is you do it super fresh and you do it all the time. Like Corona. You just keep cranking it out and get it to everywhere. I've been told that Corona, the best place to have Corona is in Mexico, like right on the border. But that was a long time ago. And that was from a guy from Detroit. So he would know, I suppose. I mean, he was 19 at the time, so who knows? For real. But anyway. Let's get this guy shot. Wow. Wow. It tastes like I'm 20 again, because I didn't drink before I was 20. This is a very good light lager. That's amazing. Very easy to drink. It's a little bit, there's a little bit of powdered sugar flavor on this, which I've found in the past that's the best way to describe one of these light lagers. That there's a little bit of powdered sugar on it, because it generally tastes like that, especially if you've been drinking something like, say, I don't know, a very heavy IPA all day long, which not all day long, but I've been drinking things that are more heavy than this all day long. This tastes like powdered sugar. It's very nice. I like this one a lot. It tastes like what it's supposed to be. It tastes like a light lager. It's a little bit lighter than what I would expect. A little bit less skunked, because Mexican lagers, from what I've had before, I mean, like, you get Dos Equis every once in a while, but usually it's a little bit older. You get like Corona, and Corona is generally in the clear bottles, which generally makes them a little bit skunky, just because they've had to come however far. And they're probably not less than 6 months old by the time you get them. But this stuff, it's fresh. You can taste it. Does this have a date on it? July 13th, 22, which my guess is that's when it was canned. For a Mexican lager in this part of the world, I mean, I'm in Michigan, so this part of the world, it is very, very fresh. And it tastes great. What does it remind me of? I'd say Coors Light, but it doesn't remind me of Coors Light. It reminds me of, I'm trying to think. I've just recently had like the Grand Lager from out of Grand Lager out of, I don't remember. It was the Grand Lager. That was very good. Powdery sugary, which tastes like this. A great lager. Armory, maybe Grand Armory, something like that, out of Grand Haven, I think. It's something out of Grand Rapids, because they had some weird sculpture thing that they have in Grand Rapids, and somebody was like, yeah, that's what it is. It's a sculpture that we have here in Grand Rapids. Actually, I think it was them that explained it to me, but I don't remember where it was, so does that matter? Probably. I don't know for sure. This one's really good. Does this remind me of a story? Probably several, but most of them are because I am at least 2 sheets to the wind right now. Not quite 3. I am still sober enough to tell a story. Not quite drunk enough to just be absolutely gone. I started many nights at a meadery in Hazel Park, which is essentially Detroit. It's a mile from Detroit, so it's Detroit. Several nights where I was 3 sheets to the wind, and then I had friends that were like, hey, you want to try this? And at that point, yes, I will try anything. If they would have given me another beer, I would have been good with that too. But that's not what they gave me. And it made for a very pukey ride home, which was not fun because I am not close to Hazel Park here. Luckily, I had somebody to drive me back. And my father is very willing to talk to everybody else about whatever else. I think that the guy that he found to talk to was the lawyer, which is awesome. Because there's one thing that I have learned from my friends in the brewery business, lawyer up. If I've learned anything from anybody that I know in the business, lawyer up. I don't have anything that I'm making money from that I would need to, that I know of. But there's a possibility that it might come to a point at one point in time here that I might need to, because I mention my employer every once in a while, and if I mention other things, they might not be happy about that, and I might need to lawyer up. And hopefully I know a guy, or he knows a guy, that would be willing to help me out with that. The guys that I'm talking about are not necessarily the guys that I'm talking about now, just other guys that I know and have known. Because believe it or not, I know multiple lawyers in multiple states. I mean, it's like 2 states and multiple people, but like multiple lawyers, multiple states. There you go. It's like 4 lawyers in 2 states. Whatever. Is there a story that this reminds me of? Okay, so one time I decided that I was going to brew a beer, and one of the beers that I brewed was very pretty looking, I thought. Or should be very pretty looking, I thought. Wheat, dark. So it was, very turbid. And I put it in a Corona bottle because I was like, oh, this will look neat. At the very least, I'll be able to see what it looks like before it comes out. And I had a friend that was like, hey, I want to try that out of that bottle because it looks really nice in that bottle. Which, I'm like, yeah, sure, fine. I'm sure that it will not taste as good. But come to find out, it did taste bad. It tasted good. Tasted better than what I thought it would. I was trying to do a it's sort of a collaboration. I wanted it to taste like a combination between a Leinenkugel Creamy Dark, which was a black lager, I think, and a Leinenkugel Sunset Wheat, which was a wheat ale. So, you combine the two things, you make it look nice as best you can, as best I could, because obviously if it's a dark lager, it's not going to be what I want it to be. And with it being a Sunset Wheat, it's going to be wheaty, obviously, anyway. I want to say that one ended up like 7% alcohol, which it should not have. It should have ended up closer to a 5. And then I just added stuff to it, like the blueberry flavoring, which was very nice. It tasted good, and it was dark, and it was creamy, and it was weird. I mean, it tasted like it should have, but also not like I wanted it to. Like, it tasted like a dark wheat beer with blueberry in it, which, fine, that's good, but also weird, because that's not how it should have tasted, really. But he had it, and he was like, yeah, it's good, but I mean, obviously I made it, so how can I trust his opinion? Although now, last I knew, he was throwing axes at a bar down around Detroit. So maybe he's had this, and maybe he's realized that light lagers are the way to go. Whether or not you can make them, they're great to drink. For sure. Anyway, I've got a quote for you. This one is from Indira Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi's daughter, I believe, leader of India for a while. She said, "You cannot shake hands with a clenched fist." I mean, you might be able to dap somebody up, but this, let's be real, kind of threatening. So, yeah, can't shake hands with a clenched fist. They will know when you're not telling the truth about aggression. I mean, because this is aggressive. It really is. Anyway, you can find me at @tubajake_69 at Untapped, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Tell me your stories. I like to hear them. You like to hear them. I will tell your stories if you will tell them to me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because it makes it so that more people can see this, and I would prefer that. I mean, I like the people that are seeing this, but also I want more people to see it, because everybody should see this, because you love it. All right. I'll see you next time when you got time for a beer.